When it comes to controlling geometry with a bevel, there's not a lot of tools you have at your disposal, especially if you're working non-destructive. So this is where you have to think somewhat creatively. So since we have HardOps installed, that means I could just press Q and I could just scroll through the Booleans to just show you all the Booleans. I could even press Q and shift click in order to scroll through them in an additive manner to show you the modifiers as they were added to the model over the course of its creation. So in a way, we can kind of roll back and forth through the creation history and talk about various steps. However, that's not needed. I'm going to press D and we're going to jump over to circle, and from here we're just going to draw a circle at this point in the mesh. And if I press Alt V, we can actually look at the wireframe and we can see the type of geometry that was provided. We see that Blender just placed an edge to get to the nearest adjacent edge, and the same thing with the other side. It will always require two edges unless you're working on an edge in order to connect your Boolean with the other side. And to show this even more, we'll draw another circle, and we see that these circles will just be solved as they will be solved with their edges, going as they will go. So we'll just continue drawing these until it becomes apparent that these edges will just appear. So what if I told you that there is a way that you can control these edges, and that the Booleans that you cut in actually are able to cut in more than just the cuts themselves? They're able to cut in geometry and topology, UV information, material information, and all sorts of other little goodies that are interesting to play off of when it comes to controlling your mesh. So right now we're looking at this with all these circles, and you would think that this is probably good enough and we can just continue on with our lives. But let's say that I wanted to do something random. Let's say I want to cut a box and then array it. And we just wanted to put a bunch of these boxes in, just to, put like a ventilation pattern. We can see that the bevel's getting a little bit unwieldy, of course, because, when we put the bevel on, we were dealing with this whole front area. We didn't have any plans for what we were putting in at this point in time. Having a little bit of a lag there because of all these modifiers, but that's fine. I'll just scale this in object mode and we'll just continue on. In fact, I'll go to the modifier panel and we'll just adjust that object offset just a little bit. And we see that, the result is beginning to get just a little bit messy. And because everything is non-destructive, that means that we can't use the knife bool to just cut knives into everything. But what we can do is actually use the knife tool on the box itself that is cutting this in and make it actually cut topology that's more acceptable for the shapes that we've chosen here. So next to where it says cut at the top, there's a button or quick button. To the side of everything there's a quick button, but the side has a quick button for jumping to knife very quickly. And what we can do is actually just draw a box cut around the box, and we're just solving for these mysterious edges. And we can see that as we cut these edges, that the solutions inside are actually getting to be more optimal, giving us a more desirable result. And so just a few choice cuts, and now we're actually looking at a result like this compared to what we had before. So one of the big things that I find beginners struggling with and possibly missing out on is the usage of guidance edges to assist them with controlling Booleans and bevels at the same time, because working artfully like this will allow you to get a lot further with your modifiers and continue stacking them up without a whole lot of overlap and spiky points and artifacts popping out. So while it does seem like I work a little bit fast and not considerate of my topology, in a way I am considerate of the topology whenever it comes to them being quality n-gons, and definitely quality geometry being given to the bevel. So that way the bevel's always able to run through smoothly and get a fine result.